Hello, greetings and welcome to episode 3 of the Hormone Diaries. Today I'm going to talk about endometriosis. The Hormone Diaries was inspired by the lovely Miss Hannah Witten, and she has actually just done a video on PCOS, which I will link down below. She's been here a lot longer than me and probably speaks more eloquently than me, so go check that out. I should state that this is going to be my personal view on treatment and diagnosis and the NHS and everything that happens. I'm not talking for everybody. Each diagnosis, each treatment, each person who deals with this is different. So if you're having any symptoms that you're worried about, please go and talk to your GP. I know it isn't easy. One thing I did find that helped is when I phoned up to make an appointment, I asked a GP that specialises in gynecology problems. There usually is one within the practice and they deal with this stuff every single day, and they can recognise and pick up on different symptoms that other GPs don't necessarily pick up on. Also, if they fob you off and they tell you that there's nothing wrong with you, go back and get a second opinion from somebody else. I beg you. I didn't, and I went 10 years without being diagnosed. Anyway, now that I have preached, let's get on with endometriosis. Oh joy. This may get a bit graphic, so you are warned. This is the story of my lovely endometrioma scan that went terribly wrong. This happened because I was experiencing weight gain and periods, and I finally managed to talk to a gynecologist specialist GP, and they said, you know what, let's send you in for a scan and just check everything is okay. So if you're to go into a scan, the first original one you have is an ultrasound. Jelly on the belly, pretty normal. Pregnant women have them to check on the baby. You've probably seen them before. It's pretty simple. It feels a bit uncomfortable because you're asked to drink a hell of a lot of water and then they're pressing around and you're just like, I'm gonna pee myself if you don't hurry up. So they did that to me and they saw a shadow on one of my ovaries and they're just like, okay, we're going to need to do something called a transvaginal scan, which is when they stick a rather phallic looking probe that's about that long up your nunny. Okay, they do cover it in lube and then they cover it in a condom, and it's uncomfortable, but you can deal with it. There's just a lot of pressure. So they were going to do that, and bearing in mind I was about 23, 24 at the time. And this is when they asked, when was the last time that you were sexually active? And I said, never. I was a virgin at the time. And everything just stopped. They said, I'm very sorry, but we can't do the scan. I'm just point like, excuse me? I'm 23 years old, I'm lying there, legs akimbo, and they're just like, nope, we can't do it, you're a virgin. I at this point said, well, I'm more than willing to sign a release form. I have no problem with you doing what you need to do, but I need this scan. And they just blankly refused to do it. I don't know if this is still a thing. I have friends who now go in and have the scans while still being a virgin, so I think they have let it go now. But at the time, I was just like, are you kidding me? You have found something suspicious on my ovary and you won't go in and look at it because I am a virgin. I'm giving you permission. I am 23 years old. I'm over the age of consent. Everything is fine. I have to have penetrative sex for you to be able to check if I have a medical condition. What the heck? That is wrong on just so many different levels. What if you are a lesbian, asexual, or you just don't like penetrative sex, or you don't want to have penetrative sex, or you're saving yourself for marriage, or any other damn reason that you don't want to have sex? You won't check if I have a possible life-threatening illness because I'm a virgin. That is just flipping daft. So I went away. I was diagnosed with PCOS, no cysts, no nothing. Even though there was a shadow on my ultrasound, it was just dropped. Nothing happened. Now, as it happened, I was seeing somebody at the time and then went and lost my virginity about a week later. But they wouldn't have me back. I had to wait 6 months before I could get another appointment, and by then I was too ill to go. It took 10 years to be diagnosed with PCOS, and then took another, I think it was about 5 to be diagnosed with an endometrioma. 5 years later, I went in for a stomach scan. As if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I had stomach problems. So they had a CT done of my stomach and the shadow was there again, only this time it was a lot bigger. And so I was once again sent into a gynecologist who once again did another scan. This time transvaginally because I was no longer a virgin. I'm about 25, 26 at this point. In it goes. Painful but dealable. And there it is. There is a cyst, a 6 centimetre endometrioma on my left ovary. And it has been there the whole time. And this explains my serious pain. This explains my very heavy periods, which are both symptoms of an endometrioma. This explains everything, and it's taken 15 years to find the damn thing. There's no real treatment for an endometrioma, except again, go on the pill, which regulates your periods. Sometimes they go in and get it. You can have surgery. It is not nice, it is not comfortable, but sometimes it just needs to be done. I personally haven't had it done. My cyst is just still there, I've left it alone, but it causes so much pain continuously throughout the month. The symptoms of an endometrioma are a serious pain that is not helped by painkillers, and this is the key. For years I would take painkillers before I wasn't able to, and they didn't touch the pain. No painkiller would ever get rid of this pain, and that is a massive sign of an endometrioma. Also, very, very heavy periods to the point that you have to change a pad like once an hour. You can sit on the toilet and honestly it's just coming out of you. You will just flood like mad. And as I said, I had pain permanently throughout the month. That is also a symptom. Constant pain throughout the month, no matter what time. And I find especially when I'm ovulating, it will just cramp up like mad, to the fact I was ovulating last night and I couldn't sleep all night. I had a hot water bottle, I had chocolate as painkiller, and it was so ridiculously bad. It's so cramping. Unfortunately, another symptom of having an endometrioma and sometimes having PCOS is pensive sex can be extremely painful, I'm afraid. For each person it's different. Obviously explaining to your partner is not easy, especially if that is not a long-term relationship, it's just a fling. I don't have any tips on this. I haven't managed the right words yet to go, this ain't happening mate, because I kind of don't work. All I can say is to try and be honest, but that's easier said than done. I'm making this sound so attractive, aren't I? Sadly, further symptoms of having an endometrioma is infertility, because it is growing on your ovary. That can knock your ovary out. Unfortunately, the cyst can also turn cancerous. Either case hasn't happened to me yet, but this is why I urge you to go and see a doctor if you're having any of those symptoms, because it's just worth getting it checked out. Yeah, I'm making this sound like a horror story, but it is possible to live with it. It's not nice, but there are many, many places where you can get tips, where you can get help, where you can just talk to people, and I will leave as many links as I can down below. Please go and check them out, and please go and check out Hannah's video, because she talks a lot more sense than I do. But yes, that's endometriosis and PCOS. I hope some of this made sense. If you have a vagina, I hope it's happy right now. I am giving you a hug for your vagina. Yeah, if I freaked everybody out, I am very sorry. And I will see you next month for something else. Oh good God. Lord knows what I'm going to talk about next month. But we'll find out soon. Bye. I don't even know why I'm calling it nunny. It's just a word I picked up lately. Yeah, it used to be foof and now it's nunny. I've been watching way too much Outlander. Everything is now coming out Scottish, so apparently it's my nunny.